Hi, this is Mondo from MondoCat.tv, and today this is a guide on how to not get banned from VRChat. Have you been banned? If you go to log in, you might get this error message saying that you've been suspended for 1 week, 3 days, or maybe forever and ever and ever. You naughty VRChat player. If you're out touching grass, you might find an email saying that you've been banned. Now, I'm wondering, just like you may be wondering, why is everyone getting banned right now? It seems every day there's a new post on Reddit or Facebook saying, I've been banned, I don't ERP, WTF. To the point, it has become a meme about yapping too much and needing to go touch grass. The world do be changing recently, but some companies are doing it right, like Jinxxy. Jinxxy received pressure from their payment processors to get rid of things that were more explicit. And they made a very elaborate list on what things that were considered explicit, including saying at the bottom, they're not going to go through files, but they're going to rely on us giving us time to look at the new terms of service to make sure that our products are compliant before going and swinging the Banhammer. In September 2025, VRChat updated the community guidelines. They intentionally kept it very vague because this type of content is very context dependent and subjective, ending with, I'll know it when I see it. They didn't tell us what things were going to be considered provocative. They didn't tell us that they were going to be going after us for 6-year-old avatars that hadn't been used in those 6 years either. They didn't tell us that they were going to start caring about the mesh and textures even if they were hidden. Rumor has it you can't even have any inappropriate shape keywords. So starting in early October, a lot of people have been banned, including me. And while they said that they're not going to draw any lines in the sand, and even if you reach out to TNS, they won't tell you anything. They'll just say, your account isn't banned. What are you talking about? So that's why I'm here. I don't work for VRChat, and I can't speak for them, and my word isn't law, but I have gathered lots of information over the past few months that maybe I can help you to not get banned. After you've been banned, they ask you to submit an appeal. An appeal for what? They didn't tell me what I did was wrong. They didn't tell me it was an avatar or a sticker, an emoji. They didn't tell me if I ERP'd. They didn't say I had a titty out at a public black cat. They just expected me to appeal something I had no idea what it was. So I asked, and they denied. They denied my appeal, just like they've denied the appeals of many other frustrated creators and community leaders out there. It's not just trolls getting hit by it. It's us. Us leading the groups of the events you go to. We're getting banned too. I've only seen one instance of someone getting inappropriately banned for an avatar that they fixed. They appealed, and their appeal was accepted. After several others and I voiced our frustration over the unexpected bans, probably much to Tupper and the staff's annoyance, we finally got some clarification. Primarily from Team StarFruit. Ensure that your avatars do not contain any sexually explicit geometry, textures, or features, even if they're to be covered or otherwise not meant to be seen. This includes if you open it in Blender, or Unity, or Paint, or Substance Painter. If you can open it and you can see something sexual, it is not safe. Now, this stuff was all in the TOS before now, but it just wasn't enforced this strongly. There's a lot of people out there saying that there's an AI ban wave going around banning everyone that has anything like this, but that is untrue. They have told us many times that every single ban, every single moderation is handled by a human. Unfortunately, when we try to talk to those humans in the TNS tickets, we get very robotic responses, and I think that's why we're all wary of all of this. So we know by now that going into a public instance or having an avatar marked public needs to be 100% safe in every single application you open it in. If you want to have a naked avatar, it needs to be set to private. However, does that make you safe in a private instance? No. If you are in a private instance, you need to have the consent of every single person in that instance to show your booba. If you don't, and someone makes a report, even if you didn't show your booba and they just don't like you, you can still be banned. Every report from a private instance is treated as if it was a public instance. This is likely because if someone doesn't like you, there is probably no longer consent to see your booba. And yes, people can change their minds. Similar to Jinxxy and their payment processor issues, it's likely that VRChat is doing this because they need the public face of VRChat to be safe for work. What you do with other consenting adults is not their business, similar to real life. If you have any feedback about the banning process or what changes are coming up at VRChat, please let them know. They're listening and they care. Similarly, hold them accountable if they make a bad decision. For example, last year when they released the snowblower that was a one-time use thing, we were all pissed off. We let them know and they fixed it. Hell yeah, VRChat. The important thing to remember is that even though it may look like you're not being heard or changes aren't being made, things take time. So please keep writing in and keep telling them your wants and needs. In conclusion, in public instances, the entire avatar must be 13 plus friendly no matter what program it's opened in, which means, but not limited to, no female presenting nips, areolas, crotches, peepees, buttholes, measure indentations of these areas, textures, shape, keys, and nothing gray or in the spirit of not safe for work, such as pasties or crotch or nip band-aids. Toggles or not, do not fucking matter. Your grandma has to approve of this avatar, inside and out. In private instances, everything from the previous slide still applies, unless you have the consent of every single person in the instance for the entire duration that you're there. Is this feasible in large groups or events? Maybe not, but this is the risk that you take going to things like that. I would love for in a perfect world for VRChat to be 18 plus, and we can be free to be ourselves, no matter what that is, naked or not. But unfortunately, this is the cards we have to play with. I am unsure how they're going to moderate instances where the person just doesn't like you instead of you doing something inappropriate. But hopefully we will get some clarity on that. And if you happen to have some clarity on that, please shoot me a message and we can get some information added to this video. I have one last thing to tell you about while we're here, and that is not just your avatar that can get you banned. If you have a sketchy sticker, or even a VRChat photo print that may be questionable, those things will also get you banned, even if you don't print them, even if you don't show anyone. Just having them can get you banned. So better to be safe than sorry. Make sure your avatar, your stickers, your prints, your emotes, everything is completely safe for work, unless you're in an instance where every single person consents the entire time to seeing your gray area things. If you have any tips on how to prevent from being banned, please let me know in the comments below. And then until next time, we will see you later. Like and subscribe, or whatever the fuck the kids say these days. I don't know. Bye.